All right, hello again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I'm going through several iterations of a payroll system using the Java programming language, and I'm up to, this is supposed to dovetail at least loosely with what's in our PDF, the Tony Gaddis Java with Early Objects 6th edition text. So I'm about to go and start my next iterations where we're going to go over Chapter 7, and that's arrays. So the first thing I'm going to do is, as always, is to come in here, right mouse click, Java class, edu.rankin.jpscott.payroll. Right? You've seen it before, you know it, you love it. Okay, now I'm going to try, I don't know if I can do this or not, but I'm going to try to grab and use everything, and I mean everything from the previous example. Now, I shouldn't say that. Let's double check. Okay, I've even got the package statement in there. All right, so now that is the same program as the one that I just went over in 5 different lessons. All right, so now I want to come in here, right mouse click, new Java class, and this will become my payroll driver. There it is. All right, now I want to grab the payroll driver I had before, just so I've got a starting point. But I'm going to make massive changes to it. Okay, so right now I'm not going to run this, but if I did, it would be exactly what I had before. All right, so let's start making some changes. Pause for just a second to get my notes in order. All right, I'm going to continue on, but what I've decided to do, good, bad, or indifferent, is I'm going to remove everything from my main. I'm just going to remove this main period. There. Okay, so and let's start by putting a few things in here. So we've got our javax.swing. We may want a decimal formatter in here, I think. All right. And that'll be for decimal patterns. And I'm also going to add java.util.random. For random number creation. All right, so that's a start. So this is supposed to dovetail with Chapter 7 in the book. So I'm going to add some arrays. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in here final int total employees equal 6, and it's just, that is more or less, it is a random number. Actually, I shouldn't even say that, because I'm using 6 there because I'm going to again use the people in my family, but not exactly. So you'll see what I mean in just a second. All right, so create global declare and initialize global constant. All right. Declare and initialize global decimal patterns. And I think I had that from before. I just want to check. Where is that? Somewhere in here I know I've got it. There. It's not my goal here to be sitting here typing in front of you, so. Alright, so there's those two patterns. Let's create some arrays. And I'm only going to have a main, so I could put these in main, but, you know, I'm not. So declare and initialize first name and last name arrays. Okay. String, first name, array, string, I think it's string bracket, bracket, equal, and I'm going to just come in here and I'm going to put in 10 names. Bob, Mary, Joe, Carol, Mark, Jen, Kent, Barb, Mike, and it's for something different, Ricardo. So I've got 10 random names that I'm putting in there. They don't mean anything. All right, most of them are just off the top of my head. I don't know what happened there, but it was not good. There. All right, so there's my first names. Now I'm going to do the similar thing with last names. So, green, brown, black, Carter, Smith. I wanted to kind of line these up. Two, three, four, five. White. Roberts. Jones, Peters, and Robinson. Okay? There again, there's no significance to these names. I just came up with 10 random first names and 10 random last names. All right? Okay. Let's see. I'm also going to come up here and say random rand equals new random. And that's what's called seeding the rand. All right? Okay. Now, we've got all that stuff. And I'm literally doing this off the top of my head, so I'm not saying, you have to whatever. So, All right, I've got all that stuff. Let's put this into a loop here. For int LCV equals 0, LCV is less than I could say total employees here. Oops. Why don't I have that? It's not recognizing total employees. Huh. Oh, because it's not static. There we go. All right. Plus plus LCV. All right. So we want to do this 6 times. What I want to do is randomly grab a first name, a last name, randomly create an hours, and randomly create a rate. Okay? Just for something different. That's all. So we're going to say let's see. What I want to do is I want to create a bunch of employees. And I didn't make an employees array. Let's do that in here. That's fine. So this is going to be an array of employee objects. All right? So, payroll, bracket, bracket, employees equal new payroll of size total employees. Okay? And of course that's got to be brackets and not parentheses. There we go. So that's going to make an array of 6 employees. So I want to take the current employee, which will be employees LCV dot I want to get the first name. And I'm wondering if I'm just starting to get into a cluster here. Let's see. Well, I'm going to add a couple more variables here. Double hours, and I'll set that equal to 0.0, double rate, and I'm going to set that equal to 0.0. And this is not going to exactly work the way that I was thinking it was going to work, but it still is okay. Employees LCV equals new payroll and let's see. I'm going to keep playing around with this random number. So, rand equals in fact, I don't want to say rand equals int temp equals 0. Temp equals rand dot next int and this should now return a number between 0 and 9, I believe. Make all of these static. That's only because I am dealing with everything in main here. So I think if I don't do it now, I'm going to have to eventually do it. All right. So it equals new payroll. Let's make 2 of these. We'll call these FN temp for first name temp. How about just FN for first name? Oops. And we'll make a last name. As always, this is resonating around in my head, so hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense in a couple minutes. So first name equals that. Last name equals the same thing. All right. Hours is going to be equal to, so I'm just randomly creating things here. And that is going to be equal to math dot random times $100. And no, that's hours, so that's 84. And rate equal math dot random times 100. All right, now let's try to explain this. Okay? This will be hours worked for a current employee. This will be hourly rate for the current employee. This will be, oops, the first name for the current employee, and the next one will be the last name for the current employee. So that's what those variables are. All right. This should generate a random number between 0 and 9. That's what we want, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This should do the same thing. All right. This should create a random number between 0 and 80. What if I put a 5 there? I think that'll work, but we'll see. So 0 and 84. And this, ideally at least, will create a random number between 0 and 100. So I'm constantly creating a new one in here. So this will then be so this will be first name based off of Fn. Then we will have last name based off of Ln. And then we will have hours and rate. All right. In an ideal world, that's going to generate 6 different employees that are going to have different derivations like Bob Brown, Mary Roberts, Joe White, Carol Green, etc. And they will have random values in there for their hours and for their rate. That should fill that array up. All right? So, then I want to print them out. All right, so we'll have another for loop in here. And this may be a cluster, this may not work at all, but hey, it's been fun for me. All right. And we will put in here, let's create an output string also. Okay. think I do want that line in there. Equals. And I'm going to leave it as LCV instead of LCV plus 1. Because so it'll be payroll object 0, payroll object 1, etc. Put a backslash n at the beginning of each one of these. Like I said, this may be a big cluster, but okay, then we'll have the last name. Semicolon, semicolon. Hours worked. Hourly rate. Okay, but I also have to figure out for each one of these, I've got to figure out their gross pay. Tell you what, let's see if we can get this to work first. How's that? All right, so I'm going to build these 6 times. After each one, okay, so let's see if when we're all done here, if we can J option pane dot show message dialog, no, output str. Again, this may end up becoming a cluster, but that's okay. Now I want to take the hours worked and I want to do a format on that. So that's pattern1.format. And for the hourly rate, that'll be pattern2.format. I'm just going to take a look at what I've got right now and see if it's whatever. File, save all, run. It's the first time, so I'm going to run this driver. Again, I could get errors. I haven't really shown you many errors so far, but oh, what do you know? So there's Barb. Mary again, Bob, and Mark. That is not bad. A lot better than I thought it would be. All right. So, first thing is first name, last name. First name, I never said last name, so that's why that is not showing. I think I said it, but somehow I've removed it. Okay. File. Save all. Let's run it again. Okay, Mike Smith. Boom. Joe Black. Barb Brown. Bob Smith. Joe Brown. Carol Green. That isn't too bad. Now I've got to figure out a way in here to come in and do and figure out just wondering if I'm making too much work here for myself. We've already got that. I'm going to try two things, and either I'm just about done or this is going to blow up. All right, first thing is I've done all these now. But I need to be able to keep the gross pay for each employee, and right now gross pay is not, I do not have an array of gross pays, but I think I'm going to have to add one. So double gross, it'll have to be a bracket here. Equal new double total employees. All right. So I've got all this stuff. The gross of LCV, so my current gross pay is going to be equal to try this. Again, this may or may not work, but I'm going to try it anyway. Equal to get payroll dot get. Okay, that's not a static. There's the gross pays. Save all. Run. Run. Wow. Barb Smith, well, I shouldn't have the space there. 60 times 50. Let's just try one of these and see how close this is to actually working. All right, so we've got 60.75 times 50.97. That equals 3,096, but some of that is going to be overtime. So we need 20.75, etc. I'm going to take for granted that that was actually working. So let's fix this. Now I've got this \n here at the end. That should not be there. That'll fix that. All right. So let's check that out. I think to try to make this easier, what I'm going to do is when I get those random numbers here, let's just keep it the way it is. All right, Barb Carter, hours worked 0, hourly rate. So you see that's working. All right, 70 times 41, they've got overtime. 80 times 47, they've got overtime. 26 times 11, let's see if they've got no overtime. So that actually should be an exact calculation, or pretty darn close. 26.71 times 11.38. We should be getting 303.99. Hello. That's a rounding thing, so that would round up to 99. Wow. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So what we have to do yet is we have to figure out how to do the total pay. All right. So once we fall out of here, we should be actually adding up all of these gross pays inside of here, total gross pay. So I should be able to come out at the very end here, and once I fall out of this loop, I should be able to output STR plus equals total number of employees plus, well, we know there's 6, and that's that. Output STR plus equals total employee payroll amount. And that should be, oops, should be this print total gross pay. Oops. What's in here? No, it's not recognizing print total gross pay. Still is not. Cannot resolve method print total gross pay. Is that what it was called? Print total gross pay. It's static and it's public. That should be, actually I should just be able to call that. That's got all of the stuff I need at the end. So, I don't need this anymore. Now that is actually correct. Once I figure out how to do this, cannot resolve method. Can I say payroll dot? Wow. If this works, I want to take a couple minutes and go back over it. We're